Assalamu alaikum. So today we're going to do some college algebra final exam review. So I will cover some question, and if there is like special cases of this type of questions, I will mention it for you guys. Alright, so let's start with the first question. Alright, the first question here, they asked me to use quadratic formula to solve for x. So first thing, let me get my value. So I have a is 2, my b is my 7, and c is 4. So my to use quadratic formula, first thing I find my discriminant, so which is b squared minus 4 is c. So I will substitute the value here. So here, because it's a minus, so I need to put the parentheses, because if I put this and I square it, I will forget that the minus 8 with 7. So especially on the exam, I may forget that. So if you have a minus, put the parentheses. It's safe. So it's going to be 4 times 2 times 4. Even with plus here, I put parentheses. Just get used to it. So it's going to be 49. So this is 16, 32. So 17, so this is positive. So I'm good. This means there is a solution. Because of the question, they didn't specify what type of answer they want, so they didn't say if they want any solution or they just want to remember solution. So if they want to remember solution and you have discriminant negative, so in this case you have to say there is no solution. But if they say any solution and discriminant is negative, this means you can include the complex solution. So let me finish this. I'll give you an example with negative discriminant. So here, so now my x is minus b plus or minus square root of the discriminant over twice a. So here I will have x will be minus 7, so 7 plus or minus square root of 17 over 2 times 2, which is 4. So some professor or some teacher, they don't want this, they want two solutions, so we can write it down as 7 plus square root of 17 over 4, or x equal 7 minus square root of 17 over 4. So you have to write down the or. If you split them out, this means you have to write down the or. Alright, so in case if you have negative discriminant, so let's pick, for example, this, I'll just pick something simple, equals 0. So when I look for my discriminant, I got minus 7 squared minus 4 times 2 times 8. So 32, 64, and here is 49. So we have minus 15, which is less than 0, negative. So if the solution they're looking for is real solution, if they're looking for real solution, so here you have to state there's no solution. If they're looking for complex or any solution, that means when they say any solution, that means complex is included. So this means you have to state this format. So it's going to be 7 plus or minus square root of 15, because the negative, so I'm going to create my I, and over 4. So this will be your complex solution if they want any solution. For our case here, it's positive, so I'm okay. So there's nothing I can worry about. But you may have a question that you have a negative discriminant. So ask what type of solution they want. So at least you know what type of conclusion you end up. Either you give them no solution, or you give them the complex solution in case if discriminant is negative. Alright, so we're clear on that. Now here they ask me to use factoring to solve this equation. Alright, so there's different way we can do that. So either I can factor it right away, so if you get used to it, but if you have no clue how to factor, or you forget the method that you learned how to factor, you can use quadratic formula to factor, because quadratic formula is another way how you can factor it. So if I want to do it directly, so I know that to factor I need to have two terms. So this is x, so this means this is x squared. This is negative, which means that I will have a positive and a negative, and I will have 12. If I multiply those together, it's going to give me two numbers, it's going to give me 12, but when we subtract them, it will give me 4, including the 5 here. So I will see first what are the factors of 12. We have 1, 12, we have 3, 4, and we have 6 too. We put 6. Alright, so here if I take 5 times 1 minus 12 is going to be minus 7, so it's not going to work. If I take 5 times 3 minus 4, it's not going to work. 5 times 4 minus 3 is not going to work. So 5 times 2, 10 minus 6 is 4. Then this will work for me, but I need to do it in order that I will have negative 4. So it's going to be 6 minus 2 times 5. So that means the value of 6 is positive and the value of 2 should be negative. So that means the 2 should be here and 6 will be here. Now I need to have 5 times 2. So that means the 5 I cannot put 5 here. Like if I put 5 here, we'll type the 6. So I need to put the 5 here. So this will be my factoring. So I will have 5x plus 6 equals 0, or x minus 2 equals 0. So here I will subtract 6 both sides. I got 5x equal minus 6 divided by 5, then x equal minus 6 over 5. Here I add 2 both sides, then I will have x equal 2. So either I will have x equal minus 6 over 5, or I will have x equal 2. Alright, so let's do the case when you have no clue how to use factoring, or you forgot factoring. So because I know that quadratic formula, based on my experience, everyone remember it. So it's something that nobody forgot. Okay, so what's the quadratic formula? Is this. So I have x equal minus b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X equal minus b minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So first thing what I do, I solve for the x. So I got x equals, that's going to be minus 4 is going to be plus 4, plus square root of b squared, which is going to be 16, and we have minus 4 times 12 times 5. So it's going to be 20, so it's going to be 240. So here is going to be 2 times 5 is going to be 10. So here x will be 4 minus 16 plus 240 over 10. So if I simplify, I got x equal 4 plus square root of 256, which is 16 square. And here I will have x going to be 4 minus, so this is going to be 16 square, so it's going to be 16 square over 10. So here 16 is going to be 16, so it's going to be x equal 4 plus 16 over 10, so it's going to be 20 over 10, which is 2. And here I will have x equal 4 minus 16 over 12, which is minus 12 over, oh sorry, this is 10 over 10, so it's going to be minus 6 over 5. Now I have x equal 2 or x equal minus 6 over 5. Now from this line, what you do, it's like you do the reverse operation. So x minus 2 equals 0. So you get all the number in one side with the x. Here I cannot have fractions, so I multiply because everything is whole, so I'm gonna keep everything in whole numbers, so I'm multiply both sides by 5. So I got 5x equal minus 6, then I move the 6 on the other side. So I got 5x plus 6 equals 0. Then what you do, you take that terms, and you multiply them together. So it's going to be x plus 2 times 5x plus 6, then equal those two times together, going to be 0. So now you have your factor. Then what you do in your paper, so what you do the following. So this should be done on your scratch paper, not on your paper. This should be on your scratch. Don't do this one on your paper. This is scratch paper. So what you do, you start from the last line. So what do you have? X plus 2 times 5x plus 6 equals 0. Then what you do? You move to the second line. So x, well, this is x minus 2. Sorry, this should be x minus 2. Yes, x minus 2. Here should be x minus 2. I don't know where I got this plus from. Alright, so this is minus. So you do x minus 2 equals 0, or 5x plus 6 equals 0. Then you move the previous line. So here I'm gonna add to both sides. So x equal 2, or, and here what I do, I minus 6 both sides. So I got 5x equal minus 6, then divide by 5. So x will be 2, or x will be minus 6 or 5. As you see here, I did my factoring. So this is another way if you lost or you forgot how to factor this type of expression. This will always work all the time. So do the scratch, then go back. So then you're going to show that you solve the question using factoring. Alright, this is a shortcut, so maybe it will help you. Now here they ask me to simplify this. So if I simplify this, so what I need to do, I need to split the square root for each term. So this is b4, so it's going to be square root of 75, square root of a5, and square root of b4. So we know that the root here is 2. So when we talk about square root, the root is 2. So here what I do, I split this, I take the maximum square root I can, or the perfect square I can get from here. The perfect square I can get from here is 25, the maximum, times 3. Here what I do, I do the division. I do 5 divided by 2. The quotient stay outside and the remainder stay inside. So if I take 5 divided by 2, I will have 2, 4, 1. So this is my quotient, and this is the remainder. So the quotient is outside and the remainder is inside. So here I will have a square outside and 1 inside. As you see here, this is 1. So this is the quotient, this is the remainder. And this can be done with any root. So if you want to simplify a cube, the same thing. The quotient outside and the remainder inside. Here the quotient is 2, so it's going to be 2 divided by 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and remainder is what? Is 0. That means there's nothing inside, but I will have square inside. So here this is 25, square 25 is 5. The square root of 3 stays, and I will have a square root of a b square. Now I simplify, make it simple, so it's going to be the together and the root, let's add the root together. So this will be my answer. But there is a case here when if I have, for example, the same question but I have cube. So because they didn't specify what type of value, if it's positive or negative, that means I have to take the case when a is negative. So we know that the square root of a number is always positive. So in that case here, it's going to be the same thing. So I will have 5, and I will have square root of 3. Then I will have square root of a square root of a. So I split this in 2. Then here is going to be b square. So the problem here is this. So if I have square root of a square, like most of the students say, okay, they cancel out. But if I cancel those, I cannot keep a by itself. Why? Because I don't know what the value of a. So in that case, what I do, I create absolute value. This work only if you have 2 and 2, only with the even 2 and 2. If it's 2, 4, it's okay. If it's 6, it's again it's different. So you have to be you have to be careful. As long as the quotient that we have here is odd, create the absolute value. If the quotient is odd, create the absolute value. So you have to be careful. So this will be will stay like that. So absolute value will be created if my quotient is odd. If it's even, it's okay, because even is always positive. So that's the case that you have to be careful about. If they say they are positive, then don't worry about absolute value. You don't need to worry about that. But if they didn't say anything, doesn't mean you have to assume the case when one of the value or variable is negative. So here, this is just a warning, so be careful. Here what I do, I factor each terms and I simplify after that. So here, to factor the first one, I will have x minus 2 times x minus 3. Why? Because it's positive, so bottom will be negative. Bottom is going to be x minus plus 4 and x plus 5 divided by x minus 3, x plus 1, and here is going to be x plus 1 and x plus 5. So you can use the same idea like I did on the first question, which is the quadratic formula. You can use that too for each one if you want. So if you have problem with factoring, so the first question is it's an example how to use quadratic formula to factor any quadratic expression. Now what I do here, I simplify. If I can simplify anything, there's nothing to simplify here. Here I simplify those, so it's gone. Then what I do, I switch this termification, flip the second term, so it's going to be x plus 5 over x plus 3, over x minus 3, sorry, x minus 3, and this will stay, so it's going to be x minus 2 times x minus 3 over x plus 4 times x plus 5. Now let's cancel the common and I'll write whatever left. So this will be your final answer. So here it asks me to use substitution or elimination to solve this. So what I do, I'm going to use elimination. Why? Because I see the coefficient of the x, they are related, so I just need to multiply this one by 2, then subtract. So it's straightforward this. If they're not related, then you choose anyone to eliminate first. So it's going to be 2x minus plus 5y equals 7, so I multiply here by 2. So I will get 4x minus 3y equal 27, and I got 4x plus 10y equal 14. Then I subtract. Because the sign they are the same, we subtract. If the sign are different, we add. Alright, so here it's cancel out. So here I will have minus 13y, and here it's going to give me 13. So divide by minus 13. So I got my y is minus 1. Now what I do here, I pick any equation I want, the first or the second, doesn't matter. So it's not going to affect anything. Then I substitute my value. So I will have 2x plus 5 times minus 1 equals 7. You can pick the first one, it's the same thing. So 2x minus 5 equals 7. So what I do, I add 5 both sides. So 2x equal 12, then divide by 2. So x equal 6. So either this is the answer, this and this. Here they ask me to simplify, so in that case I'm going to use the conjugate. So if I have a plus b, so the conjugate of a plus b is a minus b. So what you need to do, switch the sign. The same thing, if I have a minus b, the conjugate is a plus b. So like for example, if I have minus 4 plus 7, the conjugate is minus 4 plus, it's minus 4 minus 7. So I don't care about the sign of the first term, I just switch the sign of the middle sign. So I don't care if this is positive or negative, so we don't care if it's positive or negative. What happened is switch that sign, that's it. So you don't worry about the first sign. So I give you this special just to let you know that You just need to switch the sign. That's it. If this one is minus 4 minus 7, conjugate, it's going to be minus 4 plus 7. So we just play with the middle sign. So here I need to multiply both sides by the conjugate of the denominator, because we cannot have irrational number on the denominator. So I multiply by the conjugate, which is the same thing as the numerator. So it's going to be 3 plus 2 square root of 5 times here 3 plus 2 square root of 5. Now we know always a plus b times a minus b is a square minus b square. So which means the denominator here will be what? This is your a, this is your b. So a, b, this is plus, this is minus, so it's going to be 3 square minus 2 square root of 5 and the whole thing square. But the top, it's not the denominator. So here we have to FOIL. Always the top FOIL. The bottom, you use this formula right away. So it's going to be 9 6 square root of 5 plus 6 square root of 5 plus 2 square root of 5, and this is going to be square. Now, so I simplify. So I got 9 plus 12 square root of 5. Here is 4 times 5, which is 20. And here is going to be 9 minus 20. So here is going to be minus 11. So I put the minus in front. I put 11. And here, come by like terms. 29 plus 12 square root of 5. And I'm done. Alright, so the same thing here. Same idea. I'm multiply both sides by the conjugate because we cannot divide by imaginary number. So this is, it's clear. So 3 minus 4i over 1 minus I. The conjugate is 1 plus I. 1 plus I. So here I will FOIL this. So it's going to be 3 plus 3i minus 4i minus 4i square over, and here's going to be 1 minus I square. Now we know that I square is minus 1, so here we'll have minus I, so 3 minus I, and here's going to be plus 4, and here I will have 1 minus 1 is going to be plus 1, so it's going to be 7 minus I over 2. Either you end up with this, or you write it down in complex form, which is this. So either this or this based on the choice. Here they didn't say anything, so if you stay with this, it's still correct. Alright, on here they ask me to simplify, which means that I need to write down everything in single fraction. So here I need to factor the denominator, so there's nothing to factor in the first one. The second one is factorable, so I factor it, so it's going to be y minus 3 times y plus 3. The last one, there's nothing to factor, so I'm going to stay. Now, to make common denominator, whatever missing in here, I multiplied both sides. Here what's missing is y minus 3, I multiply both sides by y minus 3, so it's going to be 2 times y minus 3 over y plus 3 times y minus 3. Here, it's okay, so there's nothing I can do. Y minus 3 times y plus 3, and here I multiply both sides by y plus 3, so it's going to be 2 times y plus 3 over y minus 3 times y plus 3. Now I have one denominator, which is going to be y minus 3 times y plus 3, and always don't FOIL the bottom, keep it as it is, as a factor, because you may need it at the end. So this means you may need to simplify like this. Simplify till the end. So always keep this till the end. Till the end. That means after you simplify everything, then you see if you can go further or you stop. Then if you want to FOIL it at the end, then this is your choice. You want to keep it at the end like that, it's still correct. So here I distribute, so I get 2y minus 6 plus y plus 15, and here I distribute minus 2, so it's going to be minus 2y minus 6. So now I have minus 2y minus y gone, minus 6 is going to be 12, so it's going to be y plus 15 minus 12 over y plus 3 over y minus 3. Now this is 3, so there we go. Now I need to simplify again. There we go. Look, this is what I'm talking about. So here I can go further. Why? Because the same expression. So it's going to be y minus 3. If, suppose I did this, I multiply, I got y plus 3 over y squared minus 9. Do you think I will think about simplify more? No. Especially on the final, you're going to say, okay, oh, there's nothing I can simplify. You're going to forget that you need to factor this again. So don't make it in this format. Keep it in this. It's more safe, and you can see something like that happen to you, then you can still go further and simplify. They will not give you 0 for that, but they will take off point because you didn't finish to simplify the whole thing. That's when they won't completely simplify. So be careful. I'm just warning you here. So this will be my final answer. Alright, so here they ask me to find the domain. So if the root is even, the domain must, the inside of the root should be always positive. If the root is even, so if I have even root, so the inside should be always positive. If the root is odd, so if I have a odd root like 2n plus 1, for example, the inside can be anything. Positive or negative, it's not going to affect anything. So here we have square root, that means the root is even, so I need to make the inside positive. So it's like I'm solving inequality. So be careful on that, because most of people just put the inside equal is greater than 0 and solve. So sometimes if I have, for example, root cube of minus x, my domain here is minus infinity to infinity. Any number will work for me. Because why? Because the root is odd, it's not even. So this is what I'm talking about. That means pay attention to the root. So don't mix everything. So if the root is even, you make the inside positive. If the root is odd, any number can work based on your function inside. So here I will make 5 minus x greater than 0, so add x both sides. So 5 is greater than x, which means in a number line. So this is not true. Don't do this on the test because they don't like number line. So here x is less than 5, so I'm going to read always from the variable x. It's not because x on the right side I'm going to shade the right side. No, read x less than 5. That means x is always on the left side. So this is my 5, so this means x should be here. So my domain will be minus infinity 5. Or you can write it down in this format, so it's going to be set of x such that x is less than 5. So it's up to you, or based on how they want it. Okay, so the same thing here. So here I cannot have 0 on the denominator, so which means that 4 plus x is not 0, which means that if I minus 4 both sides, so x is not minus 4. So therefore I can include, this is minus 4, I can include anything in my domain except minus 4, which means my domain in interval notation will be minus infinity minus 4 union minus 4 infinite. If I want to use this notation, so it's going to be set of x such that x is not equal to minus 4. So either one is correct, so based on how you want it and how your teacher wants. So you can ask, so to make sure that it's clear. Alright, next question. So here I need to simplify, but they want positive exponent. So here what I need to do, I need to make sure that I simplify each parenthesis by itself if I can. Then I distribute. So don't distribute till you make sure that there is only one base for each exponent. So if I, for example, 2, 4 to 24, or like 2a square b a minus 4b square, and you have 3, don't distribute this till make sure that you have only one base for each exponent. That means simplify the inside first, then do the exponent. That means distribute. So this is the best way. Why? Because you reduce the chance of error. Here there's nothing I can, so I will leave it as it is, but I take the parentheses, I don't need it. Here again there's nothing. What I do, I distribute. Keep in mind, if there is no exponent, it's 1, so it's going to be 5 squared a squared b minus 6. Then same base, add the exponent. So here it's going to be 5 squared 25, so it's going to be minus 75. It's going to be a 2 minus 1 and b 4 minus 6, so it's going to be 75. A 2 minus 1 is 1 and b is minus 2, but they want positive exponent. That means if I have a minus n is 1 over a n, so I move it to the denominator. So here will be minus 75 a over b squared, and this should be your answer. So this is 75. Sometimes I write sloppy. So alright, so I hope this is clear. Here they ask me to find out g of 1 and g of minus x. So what I do, I find g of 1 by itself. So it's going to be square root of 3. So I just do it right away. Alright, so it's going to be square root of 3 minus 1, which is square root of 2. So g of minus x is square root of 3 minus 6. So it's going to be square root of 9, which is 3. Then what is g of 1 minus g of minus 6? I just substitute their result. So it's going to be square root of 2 minus 3, and we'll be done. Here they ask me to find out the equation of the line that contains that point and perpendicular to that line. Alright, so here they give me 1 point, but they give me another line. The purpose of this line, which is perpendicular, is to get my slope. So the best way to tackle this type of question, any type of question which is involved writing the equation of the line, use the point slope formula. This is the bridge for any form, either standard or slope intercept. So always, personally, I use this. So what I do here, I write down whatever I have. So here the y is 3, the slope, and the x is 4. Now what's missing is my slope. I know that this line is perpendicular to that line, so my slope should be minus 1 over the given line, which is the one that I have here. So I need to find out what is the slope of this one first. So what to do, I solve for y. Minus 2x minus 2x, so I will have y equal minus 2x plus 1. So my slope here is minus 2. So the slope of the line I'm working on, it should be m is minus 1 over minus 2. So it's going to be half. Then what I do, I substitute this one here. So minus 3 equal half x minus 4. Then what I do next, I distribute. So y minus 3 equal half x minus 2. Add 3 both sides, and you're done. The same thing if you have parallel line, the same thing. Parallel line, for parallel line, the slope is always equal to the other one. So that means when you find the slope, we just keep the same value. This is for parallel. For perpendicular, we do this format. So keep in mind and make sure that you make difference between parallel and perpendicular. So if they give you the slope, they give you equation. See what's the relationship between this line and that line. Either parallel, perpendicular. Parallel, same slope. Perpendicular, so is this formula that gives you the slope of the perpendicular line. Alright, next. So here they ask me to solve here. So the best way here to deal with this is what? Is to FOIL, move the 14, use quadratic formula, and you're done. So don't think too much. So here is going to be x squared plus 2x minus 3x minus x equal 14. So it's going to be x squared minus x minus 6 minus 14 minus x equals 0. So I minus 14 both sides. I move the 14 here. Let me do it step by step because I don't want to confuse some of you guys. So minus x equal 14. So minus 14 both sides. So I got x squared minus x minus 20 equals 0. So quadratic formula, and you're done. So because I know how to factor this, so I factor it. So, but don't do it the way I'm doing it. If you get this, quadratic formula right away, and you'll be done. So it's going to be x plus 4 equals 0, x minus 5 equals 0, so minus 4 both sides. So I got x equal minus 4, or x equal 5 if I add 5 both sides. So this how to deal with it. So don't forget to put the or. So this will be your answer. Like I told you, you reach that point, x equal minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So set what is your a is 1, b is minus 1, c is minus 20. That's it, and substitute, and you're going to get this answer. Of course, you're going to simplify because you're going to have a perfect square inside here. I hope it's clear. So don't, if you have problem with factoring, so you don't have to factor to solve. It's not because they give it to you in factor that's mean you have to factor. No, they just say solve. That means use your method that suits you to solve the question. FOIL, combine, make it a quadratic equation, quadratic formula. That's it. So here they ask me to complete the square. Here is difference because they want specific method to do it. So here I cannot use quadratic formula. So here what I do, x squared plus x minus 4 equals 0. I move the 4 on the other side, so I add 4 both sides. So I got x squared plus xx, and I leave this one spot empty. And what I do next, so I do this. So I take this x here, I add it on both sides, but I divide by 2 and square it. Whatever value here, you divide by 2 and square it. Add whatever value, 5 minus 3, whatever is, always you divide by 2 and square it, and add it both sides. So here what did you do? You create a perfect square. So what is my perfect square? Is the following. So what I do here, I put parentheses, and I will be more specific. Whatever here is x, you put x here, that value you put it here, and the middle sign is the sign that you put here. If it's minus, you put minus. If it's plus, put plus. I hope it's clear. Then you square it. Here you simplify, so it's going to be 4 plus 9. Now, so if you want to simplify this, you can simplify. We'll keep it till the end. So it's 6 over 2 square equal 13. Now I square root both sides, but I need to make sure that I add my plus or minus here. So don't forget that. So when you square both sides, add plus or minus. So I got x plus x over 2 equal plus or minus square root of 13. So this is 3. So it's going to be x plus 3 equal plus or minus square root of 13. Then you minus 3 both sides, and you're done. So I got x equal minus 3 plus or minus square root of 13. So this is a solution. If they want two solutions, so it's going to be minus 3 plus square root of 13, or x equal minus 3 minus square root of 13. So it depends what they want. Ask always. So if they can accept this, then it's good. If they want each solution by itself, then you have to split it up. So this is how to deal with the completing the square. Always the middle number divided by 2 and square it and add it both sides, whatever it is. Alright, so let's move on. So here that's me to find out f of g. So this is my variable x. My variable x is up here. That's me. If I have t, I put t here. If I have h, I put h here. So whatever the variable I change the x inside the function or the expression. So here what do we have? I have g of x. So that's mean I have f of g of x. That's mean my variable is g of x. So it's going to be what? 1 over g of x. This is multiplication because those is multiply each other 2 times x. So here is multiplication. Now what I do, I change g of x by its value. It's an expression, so which means it's going to be what? 1 over 2. I put parentheses and I put my g of x. Then I distribute. So it's going to be 1 over 2x squared plus 2. Then I'm done. Now to solve for this, I don't need to find what is g of 2, then plug in into f of x. So I already have my transformation here, or my composition here. So what I do, I just substitute 2 here. So it's going to be f of g of 2 is going to be 1 over 2 times 2 squared plus 2. So it's going to be 1 over 8 plus 2, which is 1 over 10. So if they give you, for example, find g of f of 2, then this is different because you didn't look for g of f2, you look for f of g of 2. So in that case, you have to plug in this one into the function. So it's going to be g of 1 over 4. Then you plug in this 1 over 4 into your g function. So it's going to be 1 over 4 squared plus 1. So this is different. But if they give you f g of 2 and you already find out f g of x, you just need to substitute the x into your solution here and you get your answer. So here they ask me to convert this into radical. First convert into fraction exponent, then the answer should be using fraction exponent. So here I have 6x squared over root cube of 8x squared. So first thing what I do, this is what I do personally. I split this number by themselves and this by themselves. And I know by property that if I have root m n is x n over m. Always the m outside is a divisor and n is numerator, or denominator, whatever you want to call it. So here I know that root cube of 8 is 2, so it's going to be 2, this is 6, this is x squared, and this is going to be x to 3, so m n. Now we know that x n over x m, if a fraction, we subtract. So here this is 3, and this is going to be 2 minus 2 thirds, which is 4 thirds. So 2 minus 2 thirds is 6 minus 2 over 3, which is 4 thirds. So it's going to be 3x 4 thirds, because they want fraction as exponent, so I take out their fraction. I hope this one is clear. So here they ask me to graph this, and they want to know the vertices and the intercepts. There's only one vertex here, so I don't have too much. So here I will find the vertex first. So the vertex is minus b over 2a, and 4ac minus b squared over 4a. Or you can use this because they are the same as this, minus b over 2a, f of minus b over 2a. So which one to use? The one that is easy to manipulate. Alright, so first let me find out what is my b. What is b over 2a is what? Which is the x coordinate. So it's going to be minus 1, it's going to be 1 over 2. Oh, it's going to be minus 2, sorry, it's 2. b is minus 2, so minus 2 is 2. Over 2 times 1 is 2, which is 1. So in my case, for example, personally, so if I have this, I'm going to use the second one. Why? Because I have simple input, just one. I just need to plug in 1 there. So my y will be 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 3. So it's going to be minus 4. As you see, it's very simple. So there's no point to use this. So my vertex will be 1 minus 4. So now after I get my vertex, I'm going to find my y-intercepts, because they want to know what is the intercept. I'm going to find the y and the x intercept. So to find out the y-intercept, make x equal 0. But for quadratic equation or quadratic expression, always the c is your y-intercept. So this means y-intercept is the point 0 minus 3. Always this is your y-intercept. For the x-intercept, you make the equation equal 0. So is x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals 0. So use quadratic formula again. So you don't have to factor. If you have a problem with factoring, use quadratic formula. So here because factoring for me is faster here, so I'm going to factor. So here is going to be x minus 3 equals 0, x plus 1 equals 0. So if you have problem with factoring, quadratic formula right away. So don't try to like be nice. So this is an exam, so you need to get it right. That's the point. So whatever is easy for you to use it. If factoring is easy and you see it, then use it. If the factoring is not easy and you see it, quadratic formula right away. The point is to get it right. So I have two intercepts. I have -1, 0, and we have 3, 0. So I got my two intercepts and I got my vertex. So what I do now, I will graph it. Okay, so let me get my value. Alright, so where did I put it now? There we go. Now, so I need to draw my line. So put label my vertex 0. Y-intercept is 0, -3. So 1, 2, 3. So this is my 0, -3, my vertex. Then I need to have x-intercept -1, 0. So -1, -1, 0. And what else I need? I need the other set, which is 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So 3, 0. So here they want to label it, so you have to put it as a point in the graph. Now I know my vertex. I know my oh, I need to find out. I need to write down my vertex first. With my vertex is 1 - 4. So 1 - 4. So let me put this one here, 0, -3, and change this one to 1 - 4. So this is again on the same location as my vertex. Alright, so here is going to be 1 - 4. So this is my vertex. So what you do, connect the point. So here is a curve, it's not a V. And you extend it. So try to make it perfect, not like mine. Okay? So try to make it nice. Especially the people who correct always try to see nice work, so trust me, it's nice to see nice work. Try to make it look nice. Okay, so this is the graph for this. So this is 3, 0. So this is the graph of that function. Here they ask me to graph this, so they want to see all the intercepts. So they find the y-intercept. I just need to change x to 0 and get the value. So my y-intercept will be 0 + 1 times 0 - 1 times 0 + 3. So it's going to be -3. So my point is 0, -3. So this is my y-intercept. For the x-intercept, I make the function equal 0 and solve for x. So here I have 3 x-intercept because it's already factored. So y equals 0, so which means that I will have x + 3 times x + 1 times x - 1 = 0. So if I put y equals 0, it's the same thing if I put f of x equals 0. The same thing. Those are the same notation. So don't get confused. So here I got x + 3 = 0, x + 1 = 0, x - 1 = 0. x minus 1 equals 0. So and solve x equal minus 3, x equal minus 1, and x equal 1. So those are the x-intercepts. So the points are minus 3, 0, minus 1, 0, and 1, 0. Keep in mind that the intercepts are point, they're not value. Okay? So this means you have to write it down as a point notation, x and y coordinate. Alright, so here I have my point. So what I need to do, I need to graph this. So I draw my graph. I'm not going to do like an exact graph, accurate graph, just to show you the idea and you do it. So what I need to do first, get my intercept 0, minus 3, y-intercept. So I've got 1, 2, 3. So this is 0, minus 3. Look for the x-intercept. So I got minus 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So minus 3, 0. We have minus 1, 0, and I have 1, 0. Alright, now you see I need to start from always from the left. You can start from the right, it's up to you. First thing I say, okay, where I'm gonna start from, the top or the bottom, from the positive side or negative side. So in that case, what I do, I pick a value. I pick, for example, minus 4, and look what is minus 4 will give me. So it's gonna be minus 4 plus 1 times minus 4 minus 1 times minus 4 plus 3. So it's going to give me here minus 3 times minus 5 and times minus 1. So I have negative, 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 means it can be negative. So I just start from this. So I know that minus 4 is somewhere down. So it's not a big deal, but I know that it's gonna cross that point. So I just extend down here and make it like a curve. Then I move up, I need to go down to here. So how far I'm gonna move down? So for example, find the middle points, which is minus 2, f of minus 2. It's not gonna be your maximum, but it's gonna be around that value. So you plug in, so it's gonna be minus 2 plus 1 times minus 2 minus 1 times minus 2 plus 3. So here is going to be minus 1 times minus 3 times 1. So it's going to be 3. So 1, 2, 3. So your graph, so it's going to go up here. It may go a little bit, then it's going to cross that value, and it's going to go down here. Then it has to cross the this and move up. So here it's like it's gonna move down a bit, and there we go. Then what you do, you extend this one. So this is how to graph this. So it's not gonna be accurate because they didn't give you like paper. You can put a table where put the input and the output. You can do that too if you want to be more accurate and pick value on this side, on that side, on that side. So in that case you can get exact value as you wish. So you put the value here, like if I put minus 4, the value minus 15. If I put minus 2, the output is 3. So if I keep picking number, I will have the input and the output. Then those will give me the point that I had to be crossed by the graph. But if you just give like a rough graph, so I think it will be accepted. Just want to see how you can manage yourself to draw the graph. If you use calculator, then you can get accurate graph. Alright, so next, so here it asks me to graph f of x equals x over x plus 2. So again, here I need to find out my intercept, y-intercept. So make x equal 0. So it's going to be y equals x over 2, which is 3. So it's going to be 0, 3. For x-intercept, so I make y equals 0, which is f of x equals 0. So this means x over x plus 2 equals 0. Multiply both sides by x plus 2. So multiply here by x plus 2, here by x plus 2. So which means I will end up having x equals 0, which is impossible. So this makes no sense. So which means don't say there's nothing, okay? Because if you say nothing, sometimes you can translate it to 0. No, we don't say nothing. You say no x intercept. Because sometimes people say nothing, okay? And when they tell you what is nothing is, you say 0. Alright, be careful. So there's a difference between nothing and no x-intercept. So there is no an x-intercept, which means that maybe my x-axis is an asymptote, but we will see it here. So here I'm looking for asymptote. So the vertical asymptote, what I do, I make the denominator equal 0. After I simplify, I make the denominator equal 0. There's nothing to simplify here. I just right away put x plus 2 equals 0. But first simplify to find always a vertical asymptote, simplify, then make the denominator equal 0. If there's nothing to simplify, then just go for it. Minus 2, minus 2. So x equal minus 2 is my vertical asymptote. For horizontal asymptote, I'm looking for the degree. The degree of the top is 0, the degree of the bottom is 1. This one is greater than. If the denominator is greater than numerator, always the x-axis is your horizontal asymptote. If the denominator of if the degree of the denominator is greater than the degree of numerator, always the x-axis is horizontal asymptote. Do you have any slant asymptote? No. Why? Because the degree of the denominator is greater than. So when you can have slant asymptote, if the degree of numerator minus the degree of denominator is equal to 1. If not, then there is no slant asymptote. Okay, so this is my information I need. So what I need to do now, I need to graph the graph. So let me put the coordinates, put my asymptote, and pick some point to give. So asymptote, we have we know that horizontal asymptote is the x-axis, so I'm gonna draw asymptote here, which is this one, and I have vertical asymptote, which is as minus 2. So this is minus 1, minus 2. So I'm gonna do a line here. There we go. Now I know my y-intercept is 3, so this is 0, 3. So the graph will cross that point. So it's gonna come from here, cross the point, and be near to the asymptote. And for that side, so I'm gonna start from here, but you can pick, for example, minus 3 and plug into the function. So f of minus 3. So here I advise you to use the table. So the input and the output table, at least is give you where to put those points. So f of minus 3 is going to be 6 over minus 3 plus 2, which is 6 over minus 1, which is minus 6. So I will have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6. So it's going to be here. So the point is going to be here, which means the graph cannot cross the asymptote, and the class is located on this area. So it cannot cross this line, it cannot cross that line. So obviously it should be asymptote to both lines. So I'll just draw a curve and extend it to be asymptote to both lines. Now I have my graph. For that one, you can pick one here. You can draw one here, minus 1, and plug in back here. So it's the same idea. So if I look for f of minus 1, so I will get the value 6 over minus 1 plus 2, which is going to be 6 over 1, which is 6. That means the 1 here should be, okay, let me make it look like. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is minus 1. So the graph will move like this format. So I'm just to show you that try to make it look like nice. Trust me, when you correct paper and it's nice, really, it's make you happy. So even if it's wrong, but it's you see a nice work, trust me, it's make the person who correct paper look at you in a nice way, or look at your paper in a nice way, because who knows, maybe he will be like more nice in terms of grade. Nobody knows. So try to make it nice, and God will reward you for that. Alright, so here they ask me to find out the inverse of this matrix. To find out the inverse, first I need to find out the determinant of the matrix. So it's going to be, if I have A, B, C, D, first I need to find out the determinant, which is AD minus BC, and check the determinant if it's 0 or not 0. If it's 0, that means there's no inverse. If it's not 0, then there's inverse. Let's make sure that D is not 0 to find out the inverse. It shouldn't be 0. So if D is not 0, then the inverse will be 1 over the determinant. And what you do with the input, so you flip the main diagonal, so A and D get flipped, but the other diagonal, I just use the opposite. If it's negative, make it positive. If it's positive, make it negative. Same thing here. So here I take my determinant, which is going to be 4 times minus 3 minus 1 times 2. So it's going to be minus 12 plus 2, which is minus 10, different than 0. That means there is inverse. So I can give you an example where there's no inverse. If I find the inverse, for example, this matrix, for example, 6, 1, 2, 3, for example. So if I take my determinant here, so I got 6 minus 6 equals 0. So there's no inverse here. So there's no point to look for inverse. Now, here it's 10. So my inverse, A, inverse will be 1 over minus 10. And I flip the 4 minus 2, 1. Then I distribute the minus 10, so it's going to be minus 3 over minus 10 is going to be 3 over 10, 10. So it's going to be minus 1 over 10, and here's going to be 2 over 10, and minus 4 over 10. Then you simplify. Don't give it without in simplest form. So here it's going to be 3, 10, minus 1 over 10, 1 over 5, and minus 2 over 5. So this will be your inverse. Alright, next, here they ask me to solve this using a relational form, and they ask me to indicate x and y. So at the end I will show you what does mean indicate the value of x and y. So here, first thing, let me change this one to matrix form. So it's going to be minus 2, 1, 2, 3. Then I will have x, y equal minus 6, minus 5. Then I will change this one to augmented matrix, so it's going to be minus 2, 1, 2, 3, put that line, and I put minus 6, 5. So this is the augmented matrix. Okay, now, so this is my advice to you. So name the row R1, R2, and work on the row. So here, what I see here, this is 2, 2, this is my the first row is all even. So what I do, I divide my new row on the first one is going to be the old one over 2. So, and I write down my new row. So I divide each term by 2, so it's going to be minus 1, yes. Or you know what, keep this one 1, so I need to divide by minus 2. So it's better. Why? I will have 1, and I don't need to do 2 things at the same time. So I will divide this by minus 2, so it's going to be 1. This is going to be minus 1, and here is going to be 3. And I keep the second line and change. Now what I need to do now, I need to make sure that this one is what is 0. So my second row It's going to be what? It's going to be the second row minus the first row, because if I take 1 minus 1, it's going to be 0. So it's going to be R2 minus R1. So I didn't change. You're saying I changed only the second row. This means the first row will stay and change. Then I do what? R2 minus R1. This minus this is 0. This minus this is going to be 4. And this minus this is going to be, this minus is going to be minus 8. Now because I need to have 1 here, so what I do? My new R2 will be the old R2 over 4. So I divide the whole thing by 4. Again, I didn't touch R1, so now what I need to do, I need to make sure that this is 0. So to make this one equal 0, I need to add it to 1. 1 plus minus 1 is going to be 0. So my next steps, what I do, the new R1 will be what? R1 plus R2. So I didn't touch R2, so it's going to be and change, and I do 1 plus 0 is 1, and we have minus 1 plus 1 is 0, and this plus this is going to give me 1. Now with this format, so I know that x, y is equal 1 minus 2. But you see, this is the idea, and they get the value of x and y, which means they don't want this answer. What they want, what is x equal and what is y equal. So we know that two matrices are equal if the corresponding components are equal. Two matrices are equal if the corresponding components are equal. So I'm going, what's the corresponding of x is 1. What's the corresponding of y is minus 2. So this is the answer they want. So it's like they check indirectly if you know how to check if two matrices are equal. Alright, now here they give me the matrix, they give me its inverse, and just want to solve this using the inverse matrix. Okay, so here I know that A is 5 minus 3, 2, 3. I know x is given to me here, so it's going to be x, y equal b, which is, I'm going to do some space because I need it. So minus 11, 15. Now if I want to use matrix, I need to multiply the inverse on both sides. But keep in mind, if you multiply on the left, you have to multiply on the left. Don't multiply it on the left. Okay, suppose I wrote down this, and when I multiply the matrix on the left, I have no space here, so I do, let me do it on the right. It's the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. This is why I left the space here, because I want to put my inverse. If I do it this way, I have no space. I have to erase it again and make the space to put my inverse. Don't put it on the other side. Don't put the inverse on the left and the other side you put the inverse on the right. No, it's not going to work because it's not equal. It's not like 2 times 3 equal 3 times 2. It's not like that. This is true because of the commutativity of the multiplication, but in terms of matrix, they are not commutative, so we cannot do that. Okay, so I hope it's clear. So because I see this a lot on the paper, so this is why I keep like whatever I see and I saw before, I just mentioned to you guys, so at least you don't do it. So if I put the inverse on the left, so I put it on the left on the other side. If I put it on the right, I put it on the right on the other side. So here I'm multiplying both sides by the inverse, which is 1 over 21, 3, 3 minus 2, 5. And here I do the same thing, 1 over 21, 3, 3 minus 2, 5. Now this will give me the identity 1, 0, 0, 1, the whole thing. The whole thing give me the, with the 1 over 21 with everything will give me the identity times x, y equal, then what I do, I multiply. So this times this plus this times this, so it's going to be 1 over 21, and I will have minus 33 minus 30. Then I do the second line, so it's going to be 3 times minus 33, yes, plus 75. Then I evaluate, so it's going to be, this will give me x, y, and here I will have 1 over 21, and here is going to be minus 63, and here is going to be 42. So now I distribute, so I got my x, y will be equal to minus 3, 2, which means that x equal minus 3 and y equal 2. But here they didn't say state its value or label or whatever named what is the value x or what is the value y. So this means this I think will be enough as answer. If you want to go further, you can do this way. It's not gonna harm you. Alright, so next. So here we have word problem. Here we have 8,000 is invested in CD and stock. So the CD pay annual 3% and stock 4%. Alright, so what I know that the interest of, this is the formula, interest of the CD will be the amount, which is I don't know, which is the investment, times the rate times the time. I know the time is 1 year, so just 1. So and the rate is 3%. So it's going to be x times 3 over 100 times 1, which is number of time, which is 1 year. For the stock is, which is I don't know, so it's going to be y times the rate times t. So it's going to be y times 4 over 100 times 1. So which means that my interest of CD is going to be 3 over 100x, of stock 4 over 100y. So what I know, if I add both interest, it will give me 275, which means that I will have IC plus IS is 275. So if I translate in terms of x and y, so it's going to be 3 over 100x plus 4 over 100y will give me 275. Now I don't want to have a fraction, I multiply those by 100. Each time you have a fraction, try to multiply by the common denominator. So in that case you will take off the fraction out. So here what's left is, let me use it here because I need 3x plus 4y equal to 7500. Now this is my first equation. So what I know that this is the amount I invest. If I get them together, it should be the same amount I put in my investment. So that's mean x plus y is 8,000. So now I have my system of equation. Now how to solve it? It's up to you. Here you can use elimination or you can use substitution, or you can use elimination twice if you want. So for example, let me do elimination twice, more easier. So 3x plus 4y equal 27,500, and we have x plus y equal 8,000. Now I'm going to write it down again because this is straightforward. Or you know what, I don't want to do that. It's like I will take this will take time. So let me solve for x and get my y. That's it. So here I multiply by 3 or so, or by 4, whatever you want to do. Let me multiply by 3, it's faster. So I eliminate the x first, so I will have 3x plus 4y equal 27,500, and here I will have 3x plus 3y equal 2400. Then what I do, I subtract. So this is gone, this is y, and here will give me 3,500. Now I know that x plus y is 8,000, so that means x plus 3 is going to give me 8,000. So subtract this both sides, and you got your x, which is 4,500. Don't forget the dollars. So this is how much you invest on each stock. You can use double elimination, but on the test it's not worth it, because this is very simple equation that you can plug in and solve for the other one. Alright, so next question here, there are how many gallons of 2% of acid must be mixed to 12 gallons of 9% acid solution to get 4% acid solution. So I know that this is the formula for this type of of question. So I have the quantity times the concentration. The first quantity times its concentration plus the second quantity times the second concentration equal the quantity 1 plus quantity 2 times the needed concentration. So in that case, what I do, I need to see how many gallons. I don't know what's the quantity of the first solution. I put x times 3 over 100 plus 12 times 9 over 100 equal, because I know the quantity, the first one is x, plus 12 times 4 over 100. There is a case when they ask you to add acid solution with water. Keep in mind, they didn't say the concentration of the water, because the water doesn't have concentration of acid. That means it's 0. So they will not say to you, but you have to assume that it's 0. So be careful. Sometimes they put acid with water or alcohol with water. That means keep in mind that water doesn't have alcohol. It doesn't have acid. That means the concentration of water, of acid or alcohol in the water is 0. So that means it's something that you should know. Now what I do here, I'm multiplying the whole thing by 100. So I got 3x plus 908, 108, 12 times 9 is 108 equal 4x plus 48. So I cancel this, this, and this. And I distribute this here and I multiply those two together. Now I minus 3x both sides. It's more easier, so I don't want to deal with negative at the end. So 3x minus 3x minus 48 minus 48. So this is cancel out, this is cancel out. What's left is 60 and x. Keep in mind this is gallon. So I need to have 60 gallon of 3% of this solution in order for me to get 4% if I mix it with the 12 gallon and 10%. I hope it's clear. Alright, so here is a rectangle. So when it comes to rectangle, I always draw all the time. Even I know how to deal with it, but I always draw. So here they told me that the length of the rectangle is 1 meter less. So 1 meter less, I put minus 1, twice the width. So the width is this. And they told me the area is what? Is 45. So area is 45. So I start with what? With the area is 45. Then I write down the formula of the area. It's length times width, which is 45. So I already have the width, and the length is an expression. So I change the length with the expression. 45. Distribute the width. So it's going to be 2w squared minus width equal 45. Minus 45 both sides. So 2w squared minus w minus 45 equal 0. So quadratic formula right away. So you don't have to worry about that. So here we can factor. I will factor it. So it's going to be what? It's going to be 2. So I will do the factoring. So it's going to be 2w. I know this is positive. This is negative. So this is w. So here is negative. So this means it's going to be 5, and here it's going to be 9 equals 0. So I will have 2w plus 9 equals 0. W minus 5 equals 0. So minus 9 minus 9. 2w equal minus 9 divided by 2. So w is minus 9 over 2. Here I add 5. So I got w equal 5. So here I have the solution. W equal 5 or w equal minus 9 over 2. Keep in mind that the length can never be negative. So that means this is not part of my solution. So the only solution I have is 5. So the width is 5. So I put 5 here. And to find out my length, I substitute the 5 here. So it's going to be 10 minus 1, which is 9. So 9 meter, and this is 5 meter. So I hope this is clear. So I hope this will help you for the test. So I will try to do another one. So in case to go further, so inshallah I will try to do a second one tomorrow if it's possible. And good luck for the final. Assalamu alaikum.